The conference has been muted.
Okay. Well, I want to let everybody know that I will be recording the webinar, and I will be sending it to everyone when we are done. So good afternoon. I am Christine Nocciolo. I am a franchise specialist with FranNet. Thank you all for attending our webinar this afternoon. So who is FranNet? FranNet has been around for 29 years. We have over 80 offices, 3 in Germany, and we just opened 1 in England. We help potential entrepreneurs find a franchise that fits their profile at no cost to them. We will hold questions to the end, and I will now introduce you to Brooke, who is going to speak to you about our business, the business that is the largest franchise staffing firm. Go ahead, Brooke.
Christine, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity, and all the folks on the line today. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us here for about 20 or 30 minutes today. My name is Brooke Wise. I'm Director of Franchising for Express Employment Professionals. We have been fortunate enough to be working with FranNet for the last almost 19 years now. They've really enjoyed our partnership with those folks, both with Christine and John Armstrong too, who runs. They both work together in the Manhattan location, and they specialize in matching folks that are looking for that next step, that are looking for that next business. They specialize in matching folks up with the appropriate business. We have been very fortunate to be the recipient of a lot of their candidates and put a lot of folks from FranNet in business over the last 19 years. And as a general rule of thumb, folks that FranNet does work with and place with us have a higher level of success in general. So if you haven't engaged with FranNet and haven't gone through their process yet, I would suggest that you do. Their services are free of charge. They do not charge you for the consultation. They do not charge you to work with you and help you through the process. There are many, many, many different kinds of franchise systems out there. FranNet's already done the work and scrubbed a lot of the franchise brands and looked at the FDDs, reviewed, and gotten rid of a lot of the ones that are unstable, that are showing losses, that have poor validation, that really don't work well. And they really do the assessment that FranNet puts you through up front, and the Myers-Briggs type assessment really does help match you with that opportunity. So today I'm here to speak to you about Express Employment Professionals. And if you're in front of a computer screen, you can see our lovely international headquarters. It looks nice and serene with crystal blue skies and green grass. It's in the heart of Tornado Alley. We are based in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. In that building, we have probably close to 250 full-time corporate employees. They're really there to support and ensure our franchise owners' success. And I'll explain a little bit about who we are as we go through this presentation today. Who are we? We are one of the world's largest employers. Last year, Express Employment Professionals put over 500,000 people to work last year. To give you just a little bit of reference there, we were the 6th largest employer in the United States. The largest employer is Walmart at about 2.2 million. So it just kind of gives you an idea of the size of our organization. We are the largest franchised staffing firm. We put people to work primarily in a temporary staffing format. We are founded in 1983. We're working on our 33rd year in business. We are a privately held organization. We have 2 stockholders to the company. We do not have public-facing stockholders. We do not have private equity money involved in our organization at all. We are not a publicly traded firm. So it is really kind of a perfect storm for us as an organization because we are privately held, because we We're not worried about the private equity money's management team and spinning the company in 5 years. We're not worried about the shareholders' equity or anything like that. As far as being public shareholders, it is all about our franchisees. We are 100% franchised. So every single one of our locations is franchise owned. So we have no other revenue streams. We have no other ways of generating revenue for the corporation except our franchisees. So being privately held, being in an industry that is extremely large, and I'll explain that here in a second, and really being able to focus on our franchisee success, that is what has driven us forward, and that is what driven us to the size that we are today. The average location in a territory puts 650 people to work a year. That is a tremendous amount of impact that you're making in the local community. And it really is a culture of success. That's what we're built on, is really ensuring that franchise owner's success. The average franchisee has been in our system for over 14 years. And our failure rate, the last 30 years, less than 5%. Failure rate the last almost 8 years now is less than 1%. So you can tell through those numbers and through the analytics that we do an extremely good job of ensuring that franchise owner's success. So the staffing industry, the temporary staffing industry in America, an average of 3 million people a day work for a temporary staffing agency specifically. The second bullet point there is what's called a temporary penetration rate. So we're able to measure, out of all the employable people in the United States, the percentage that works for a staffing agency, a temporary staffing agency specifically. Right now, currently, this is 2.2%. It's the largest it's been in the last 10 years. Just 5 years ago, the temporary penetration rate was about 1.6, 1.7%. That rate right now is 2.2%, and it continues to grow. The industry, the temporary staffing industry itself is massive. It is a $142 billion industry. We are a significant player in that industry, and we're looking to grow our ownership base in the New York tri-state area. For us, and who Express is, how do we fit into this industry? We have 766 locations. And that is as of this morning. We just awarded a territory outside of Boston. We have locations in the U.S. We're up into Canada with about 40 operating units, and we're over into South Africa with about 15 operating units. Because we are 100% franchised, our top-line sales is the combination of all of our franchise locations. Last year, we posted over $3 billion in top-line sales in 2015. We added 76 new owners to the system in 2015. So what happens when most franchisors get to our size and our tenure? They do two things. Number one, they kind of maintain the current size, and they may try to grow same-store growth year over year. And then number two, they manage litigation. Number one, we are still growing at a record pace. We are outpacing the industry's growth. The temporary staffing industry is growing at mid-single digits year over year, still after the industry being 100 years old. Us as an organization, Express as an organization, we are growing in mid-teen percentages year over year. We have set growth records the last 8 years. This is an organization that's $3 billion. So we added 76 new owners in 2015. Typically on an annual basis here the last 6-7 years, we've added between 60 and 80 new owners a year. So we are not sitting still. We are not maintaining. We are growing, number one. And number two, we have no litigation to speak of. I mean, it's very simple and straightforward. So we are in an organization that is extremely large, is extremely successful, very structured. It is absolutely 100% a proven system and a proven model that works, that has an extremely high tenure, over 14 years. The average franchisee has been in our system over 14 years and has a very low failure rate. So based on that, I mean, the next bullet point might be fairly obvious. We are ranked the #1 staffing franchise by Entrepreneur the last 6 years, and that is something that we are extremely proud of. Franchisee performance. So most of our owners are single unit owners. So this is an opportunity that is kind of hands-on owner-operator. You cannot run this from an absentee standpoint. It just typically does not work. So if you're an individual that wants to be hands-on, that wants to be involved in your business growth, this is what we can look to achieve. This is a system that you can scale to significant 6- and 7-figure income from one location and one territory. You do not need to layer in multiple territories to get to that significant income. We do have a pretty unique opportunity in Manhattan where we are offering that multiple territory, and I'll go into that in a second. But you do not need to do that. And if you do, you're just multiplying things. So in our system, the average territory generates $5.6 million in top-line sales each year, generating a gross profit margin of over $1.1 million annually. That's cash flow of the franchisees of just over $709,000. I think you'll agree that's fairly impressive. New locations, startup locations, the locations that we've opened up the last 2 years, they average over $1.1 million their first year in top-line sales. The second full 12 months, those locations average over $2 million in top-line sales. So as an average, these are audited, substantiated numbers that are in our FDD. As an average, new locations are over $3 million in top-line sales after their first 2 years of business. And it's just an impressive opportunity that it's all because of our franchisees that are in the system. We don't have this huge ad fund that franchisees contribute to and drive traffic to the locations. Franchisees don't sit back in their office and wait for that to happen. They're very proactive. They get out into the territories and they make it happen. They are in control for sure. We do, as I mentioned earlier, we do have the opportunity for multi-unit ownership. Now, in the New York tri-state area there, I do have 13 available territories for single unit purchase between Brooklyn and Queens and out on Long Island. I have a single territory left in northern Jersey. I have territories in the Bronx, and I also have Manhattan. But at the same time, I also have very extremely successful franchise owners in and around the New York tri-state area that have really built significant business that you'll be able to speak to and so, and really validate as you come through our process. But for Manhattan, we do have the opportunity. Those are our two founders of the organization there, Bob Funk on the left and Bill Stoller on the right. Both individuals came from nothing. They built the Express from nothing in day one. They actually scraped together the cash to start Express and a $150,000 loan when most savings loans were failing in Oklahoma City, and have built Express to what it is today. And they are individuals that truly, truly believe that it is 100% about the franchisees. It is not about them. It is not about the corporate entity. And I'm a firm believer that is what has completely added to our overall success as an organization. But for Manhattan, I'll group together 3 territories. So 3 territories, the investment level that I'm looking to qualify, the minimum is $250,000. We will require $600,000 liquid, so you can build that multi-unit opportunity. But the average multi-unit owner in our system has 2.3 locations, and this would be 3 in Manhattan, generates over $12.6 million as an average top-line sales. It's incredible. So for us, it is really about ensuring that franchise owner success, For a single unit, so if you were to look at locations on Long Island, or you look at locations in Brooklyn or Queens, for a single territory, the minimum investment is $120,000. That includes your franchise fee of $35,000. That includes all the startups needed, and it also includes 6 to 9 months worth of operating capital, because that is the average time to positive cash flow for our system. So you have a hands-on business that's got a fast ramp up, 6 to 9 months, and it's got a huge scalable upside. And it's really because of the way the model is positioned. The only two synergies that franchisee is pushing forward is they're pushing forward the sales and business development to find that opportunity to put somebody to work, and they're pushing forward the recruiting efforts to find the people to put to work. That's it. The corporate entity steps in and provides and does all the back office operational activities. For instance, so when you place somebody to work, they're actually our employees. So we do all the W-2s, the taxes, we take care of all that payroll stuff. We do all the invoicing, the accounts receivables, the collection. We even float the receivables for the franchise owners. So the clients, the businesses where those people are working, they don't have to get paid. We don't have to be paid by them in order for the franchisees to receive their revenue. So it is really set up and designed so the franchisee can spend their time working closest to the dollar and building their empire and building their business. So just to recap just slightly, the single unit minimum investment level, $120,000, includes all your startups, 6 to 9 months worth of operating capital, and the franchise fee of $35,000. Multi-unit for Manhattan specifically, $250,000 minimum investment level, includes all your startups, franchise fee, and operating capital as well. So our investment levels are to positive cash flow. Just a couple things to remember when, if any of you on the phone here have investigated franchise brands before, all franchise brands bring you through a process to learn all about it. Everybody treats it a bit differently. We are in the position of awarding franchises, so we're not really here to sell you the business. It's really about presenting the opportunity, providing education, providing an opportunity to validate everything you've learned, and trying to picture yourself in the business. That's it. And if you do, that's great. You get to the end, we approve you, we award you the franchise, and you rely on the franchise system for everything. You don't figure anything out on your own. But different points to remember through this, there's a part in the overall discovery process called Discovery Day, where you go to the franchise system and you touch it and you feel it and you try to see yourself there. A lot of franchise systems treat that day different. Most franchise systems require you to pay for your expenses to go see them. We cover all those costs. We don't want that to stand in the way. Same thing with your initial training. We cover all costs with your initial training. Most franchise systems will charge the new franchise owner to attend the training and then require them to cover all their transportation costs. We pay for all of it. And not only do we pay for you as the owner, we pay for that first or second employee that you're going to hire. That's very important because we train and we're very involved in finding your employees as well. And we cover all the costs associated with your annual convention. That's another big one. Franchise systems love to charge franchisees to attend the annual conference. They require them to attend through the franchise agreement, number one, and then they charge them a quote-unquote registration fee to attend the conference. We don't do that. And typically our conferences are all centered around the franchisees. They are top-notch with a high attention to detail. That finished with a black tie event. This year we had over 1,800 people at our International Leadership Conference, that's the name of the convention. We typically will bring in some highline speakers to add some value to it. We've had Condoleezza Rice, Colin Powell, Dan Aykroyd, Damon Johns, Terry Bradshaw, Emmett Smith was one of the ones this year. Former President George W. Bush was one of the speakers this year as well, Sean Hannity. This is all value for the franchise owners. So it's really about giving the owners, providing the owners an opportunity for best practice sharing, to really bond with their other owners and learn with what's working in their particular marketplace. At the same time, giving them some transferable skills that they can take back to their markets and apply for immediate growth. So we cover all of the costs associated with your first annual convention. And from that point on, you just simply get yourself there. We don't charge a registration fee. So who are we looking for? This is just a snapshot of one of the insides of our offices. We are not one of those systems to where every single location has to look exactly the same. Everyone is a bit different. It does take a bit of a picture of the environment that it's located in. Obviously in Manhattan we won't have a retail storefront. We will be in an office building. We do not require signage. If you just can't get signage on the front of your location, that's okay. The space is a piece to the puzzle. It is not about where you put your space, how big you hang your sign. It is about the owner's involvement and the owner and his sales team, his or her sales team, being able to brand themselves in their local market. But who we're looking for? We're looking for individuals that, number one, first and foremost, are very comfortable in a B2B sales environment. That's what it takes. We're not necessarily looking for that experience. You don't have to have that experience. You just have to be comfortable in that environment. You have to be leading. You have to be comfortable leading and motivated and inspiring individuals, because you're going to have employees that you have to do that with. You're going to have to be comfortable in your own community, in your own environment, and wanting to make a positive impact in that area and in others' lives. This is a business with a purpose. We're putting people to work. Our overall goal as an organization is to put 1 million people to work a year. That's it. We don't have an overall revenue growth. It's to put 1 million people to work a year. Like I mentioned earlier, we put 500,000 last year. We're at 760 locations. We'll probably have to be around 950 locations to hit that 1 million people to work a year. That's what we're charged with. It's a business with a purpose. It is not, we're not marketing a unique product and trying to push something new and different into the marketplace. It's not a restaurant that's serving pizza or burgers or anything like that. It is putting people to work. Over 92% of the businesses in North America use temporary staffing in some form or fashion. We're just plugging ourselves into that, and we've done that for the last 30 years. So it's really, you have to be comfortable in that outward-focused role. You have to be wanting to build an empire, build something significant. Yes, you will start off in the business building it from the ground up, but you will transition over time to more of the CEO of the business, which is very important. We do not want folks that are going to stay in that sales role and just reach a capacity. That's not what it's about. We want somebody that wants to scale a business to a significant size. And through our process, we really try to bring out what's motivating you, what's inspiring you, what do you want to accomplish, because that is a piece of it. We look at financial goals. We look at lifestyle goals, because not everybody wants to work 50, 60 hours a week for the rest of their life. And we look at, we try to compare core values and what you're passionate about and make sure that aligns with the organization. Because when you have those three items, you have that passion and drive, and it's easy to get out of bed every day. And you feel good about and feel proud about what you're doing. And in the end, you're making a positive impact in somebody else's life. You're putting people to work. You're giving them the opportunity to earn an income. So there is a bit of a philanthropic feel to this business. So I'd like to kind of wrap here by saying we're partnering with FranNet for sure. We have been for years, but we specifically have an event that's coming up on June 11th. Express and FranNet has sponsored a box at the Yankees game that night there in the Bronx. We do have a number of tickets available. I believe it's about 20 tickets that are available that you can get through FranNet and Christine and John. And we would love to host you. Just simply get yourself there, and we'll have the box and tickets, and we can get to know each other there for sure. I would also say if you would like to learn more about Express and come through our process to learn about it and learn if it's a fit for you, you can do it one of two ways. You can engage with me directly, or you can go through FranNet's process up front, and then they can certainly introduce you to us. I'll certainly put out my contact information after this call. And at this point, Christine, why don't we open it up for questions if you'd like?
Yes, I will unmute everyone.
The conference has been unmuted.
I just unmuted. So anyone have any questions for Brooke?
Yes, this is Sean Phillips in Long Island. Question, is there an established list of companies that you would be working with in the territory already to get started, or are we starting from ground zero and finding companies that will be a part of the network?
Great question, Sean. Thanks for joining today. For the most part, you start from zero, but we do a tremendous amount of things to seed the revenue to your business in the beginning. So you're not going to hit the ground and be like, hey, what do I do? Where do I start? It's very scripted, it's very process-driven, and it does work. We do have national accounts. Some of the big ones that we have on our national account list is Amazon, Walmart, Walgreens, those type of facilities. But generally, our franchisees are going to start it's all about the franchisees in their local community, in their local markets. We do not have a huge ad fund that our franchisees contribute to drive traffic to their locations. It's about the franchisees branding themselves. We know exactly what works, exactly what doesn't work. So it's really about the willingness to do the activities and lead a group and to do the activities. So, but it's in the numbers. I mean, it's average location after the first year generating over $1 million in top line sales. So yeah, you do start. We are able to identify who the clients, and we call the businesses where that person is working. We are able to identify who that client should be through the demographics that we're able to pull. So we'll go into a territory. For instance, one of my territories available there on Long Island is Garden City. We'll go into the Garden City territory. We'll know that there's 16,000 businesses in that territory. We'll cut that back to 400 or 500 that we'll focus on for a foreseeable future, and we'll build a top 50 list for you, because we can tell the size of the company, the sector that they operate in, and if they're habitual users of temporary staffing. We can tell that. So it's kind of a warm approach to it, and it's like you're not figuring this out on your own. You're very much between the guardrails and being supported by the organization.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I do have another question. Sorry, it's Sean again. In that 125, I believe was the number you said for a single location.
Yes.
Does that include real estate in that number?
Yes, it does include generally our franchisees will locate in spaces, 8 to 1,200 square feet. Now Manhattan's going to be a little bit different, different animal, but Long Island territory, 8 to 1,200 square feet. It's generally our franchisees are leasing spaces anywhere from 3 to 5 year lease. But yes, that is included in that number, your lease deposits and startups and what have you.
Okay.
Hi, this is Heather. Do you have anything in Westchester County, or is it the 5 boroughs on Long Island?
I do have a franchisee that is operating in Westchester County, and I also have one that's in Yonkers, White Plains as a territory. North of Westchester, Poughkeepsie is available, and then down into the boroughs I have available as well.
I'm sorry, what was the last thing you just said? Down in what?
Down into the boroughs. I'm sorry.
Okay, got it.
Sometimes I mumble. I apologize.
No.
Anyone else?
You mentioned Garden City for Long Island. What other, do you know off the top of your head, what other areas within Long Island that you have available?
Of course, I have southern Nassau County available, which comprises, so there's 2 territories in southern Nassau County. Garden City is one. The northern boundary of those 2 territories is the LIE. Those 2 territories are split by the Meadowbrook Parkway. So the territory to the east, we just call Southeast Nassau, and then the Garden City territory are available. That's it. Otherwise, I have operating franchisees on the island.
Gotcha. Okay. Great.
Awesome. Well, Christine, I do appreciate the opportunity, and of course, as always, our partnership is very important to us, so thanks for inviting us today. I appreciate that.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for attending. I will be sending you all an email with the recording. Any questions, contact me anytime. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.